This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball from Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Game 1 between the LA Dodgers and the St. Louis Cardinals. Along with Tim McCarver, Dan McLaughlin with you, Jim Hayes as well. And Tim, if you love pitching, you're going to get it starting tonight.
Best of the year for a 4-game series, the pitching matchups, and the Cardinals putting their best foot forward with Adam Wainwright tonight.
Adam Wainwright with 10 wins this season. Josh Beckett, he's thrown a no-hitter this year. Really turned around his career this season. Puig is in the lineup. Dodgers-Cardinals coming up. Players who could make an impact in this series in 55 seconds. We start with the Cardinals' Matt Adams. Los Angeles, one of the biggest cities in the world, but the Cardinals have their own big city. Matt Adams hitting .340 with 16 RBIs since returning from a calf injury 2 weeks ago. In 12 career at-bats against the Dodgers, he's hitting .417. Yasiel Puig, the outfielder for the Dodgers, burst onto the big league scene a year ago, and he hasn't slowed down since. Since his arrival last June, record-wise, the Dodgers have been the best team in the National League. With Puig, you can always expect the unexpected. How about D. Gordon? Puig may be fast, but Gordon is faster. Gordon has swiped 40 bags this year. Gordon is only 1 for 3 against Molina, but don't think that'll stop him from trying in this series. Cardinals slugger Matt Holliday. He has a .329 career average against LA with 21 home runs, and he's driven in 76. Fresh off a 7-hit series against his former team, the Colorado Rockies. Keep an eye on Matt Holliday for these 4 games. Jason Mott has made great progress recently in his return from Tommy John surgery. With great pitching on both sides and Trevor Rosenthal's 41-pitch effort yesterday, Mott will get the chance to pitch in this series. That's 5 in 55. It's the Cards. It's the Dodgers. Tonight on Fox Sports Midwest. 7th win. Baseball coming up. Times are waiting. Grab some buds. Come in and visit Mid-American Chevy dealers and make your move to Chevrolet today. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Along with Jim Hayes, Tim McCarver, Dan McLaughlin with you here in Los Angeles. Mike Matheny's club at the start of play. 4.5 games back in the NL Central. The Dodgers just 3 games back in the National League West. A look at the Cardinals lineup. They put up some good numbers. The just completed series in Denver, in which they took 2 of 3 against the Rockies. Matt Carpenter will lead it off, followed by Matt Holliday. Very good numbers in this ballpark. Matt Adams has been red hot. Johnny Peralta, second consecutive day he'll bat cleanup and riding a 6-game hitting streak. The All-Star Yadier Molina. Alan Craig is in right. John Jay, the start in center field. 2 years for Mark Ellis with the Dodgers, now with St. Louis. He'll bat 8th. And the pitcher, Adam Wainwright, batting 9th. Well, it is a tough road to hoe when you look at the next 4 starters the Cardinals face. And, Tim, it all begins tonight with Josh Beckett.
Josh Beckett, number 3 in the National League in earned run average, right behind Adam Wainwright. That's how powerful these 2 starting pitchers are this evening.
72 degrees here at Dodger Stadium. Matt Carpenter is hitting .276. 3 home runs. He's driven in 30. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. Josh Beckett, the 34-year-old from Spring, Texas, and the 2nd overall pick all the way back in 1999 by the Miami Marlins, and trying to pick up win number 6 tonight.
The one thing I think Cardinal hitters are thinking now about Josh Beckett, he's not the Josh Beckett who threw 96, 97 5 years ago. So you don't let him get you out of way because he can't come inside. He doesn't have the fastball to come inside and jam you like he used to. So look away, particularly with 2 strikes after getting ahead with fastballs, 2 curveballs to Carpenter.
Not throwing his fastball nearly as much as he used to. That's up the middle and a base hit on a pitch that was up, a cutter from Josh Beckett. And Carpenter has a leadoff hit. His 84th hit to lead the club.
Fielder number 7, Matt Holliday.
Dodgers dealing with a little bit of injury right now. We're still awaiting word on Hanley Ramirez. He's not in the starting lineup tonight. May go on the DL. Around the Horn, brought to you by Dobbs. Matt Kemp in left. Andre Ethier in center. Yasiel Puig is in right. Uribe, Rojas, Gordon, and Gonzalez. Adrian Gonzalez, a 3-time Gold Glover at first, and Butera is behind the plate. Matt Holliday is tied with Johnny Peralta with 21 doubles this year. Pulls that foul. Josh Beckett, Tim, had the surgery that Cardinal fans are familiar with because Chris Carpenter had this surgery to prolong his career. They removed a rib that was pressing against a nerve that was causing numbness in his fingers. This happened last July, so a new lease on life, so to speak, in his major league career. No numbness and feeling much better. It's also changed the way he's thrown too.
It also changed the fact that he had not thrown a no-hitter before that operation. He threw that 9 months later.
May 25th at a hitter's ballpark in Philadelphia. Dodgers with a pair of no-hitters this year. Josh Beckett, the lefty Clayton Kershaw. 0-2 the count on Matt Holliday. How about as a player? Do you like coming to this ballpark?
I'll tell you, no, I didn't. Too many distractions.
Sounds like fun to me.
Well, no, it wasn't. By that I mean, and plus, you know, the dirt, the Dodger infield looks red. It doesn't look like regular dirt. It's a clay mixture. And in the days in the 60s before batting gloves, you couldn't get a grip on the bat. The dirt was slick. At least that's the way I felt. And plus, the pitchers for the Dodgers were slick also. Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale, Claude Osteen, Ron Peronowski in the bullpen. Don Sutton began his career in 1966. And they still have that pitching right there. Clayton Kershaw goes on Sunday against the Cardinals.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Holliday. There was a 5-year period. Koufax and Drysdale won 209 games in 5 years. 53 of those were shutouts. They won 4 Cy Young Awards in that time frame and 2 World Series championships. Maybe the best 1-2 punch ever.
I think you could make a case for that.
And time is called.
We talked about this when the Cardinals were in Colorado. Sandy Koufax won 3 Cy Young Awards when there was only 1 given for both leagues. And Don Drysdale won 1. Maury Wills, the most valuable player in 1962. But that was the year that the San Francisco Giants beat the Dodgers in a playoff, the best 2 out of 3, and the Giants went to play the Yankees in a World Series.
1-2, and it could be a double play ball. Rojas over to first, double play.
That looked like a splitter. And Nomar Garciaparra was up here earlier, and I asked him about a split. And Nomar said, you know, for the most part, Beckett's getting away with fastball, curveball, but this looked like a split that went down.
Sure did.
Out of the strike zone. Holliday bit, and a double play for the Dodgers.
In steps Adams. He is 3rd in the league in hitting at 328, behind Jonathan Lucroy and Troy Tulowitzki, who leads the National League at 351. What a series Adams is coming off of in Colorado with 3 home runs. That floats in there for a strike. 1-1. Josh Beckett, part of the 9-player deal with the Boston Red Sox, and that was in August of 2012.
One of the greatest general manager moves to get rid of salary by a team in this modern age. Ben Cherington, the general manager of the Boston Red Sox. What a fabulous deal that was. The next year, the Red Sox beat the Cardinals in the World Series.
$250 million.
Oh.
It's not often you can shed not just salary, but say we're going to clear players out of here that we feel aren't productive anymore for us.
And
maybe
don't like it in Boston.
Exactly. Change of scenery may help them.
Yeah, right.
But definitely help us. Out in front is Adams, and he strikes out. First strikeout for Josh Beckett. It's Adam Wainwright to the mound when we come back. Here in Dodger Stadium. And D. Gordon will lead it off, followed by Yasiel Puig and then Adrian Gonzalez. Matt Kemp, Ethier, Uribe, Butera, Rojas, and Beckett. That 9 will face Adam Wainwright. It has been a sensational first half for Adam Wainwright, Tim Arcia starter.
I was thinking about this on the way to the ballpark today. You've heard that expression, a change of pace. Normally that means a changeup. Adam Wainwright has mastered the art of changing his pace as a pitcher by winding up and varying the delivery, bringing the hands up to his face, over his head. He won't move them from his waist. So his change of pace is a purer form of change of paces.
1 ball, 1 strike on D. Gordon, the 26-year-old from Windermere, Florida, and a 4th-round pick in 2008. The Dodgers are glad they stuck with D. Gordon because right now he is producing 40 steals this year. Originally, Dodgers thought he would be the future at shortstop. Didn't work there. Couldn't get above a 200 average. They acquire Hanley Ramirez. And D. Gordon now playing second base for Los Angeles. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Three and 2. D. Gordon is the son of former Major League pitcher Tom Flash Gordon, who spent 21 years in the big leagues, and he was a good one.
His son should be named Flash.
Good point.
Flash was a pitcher.
But this guy is a flash on the base paths.
I'll say.
And a leadoff walk.
Oh, boy.
Look at the Cardinals defense with Holiday in left, Jay in center, Alan Craig is in right. Around the horn brought to you by Dobbs. Carpenter, Peralta, Ellis and Adams. Molina behind the plate. And this could be some fun here. Molina and D. Gordon.
Best catcher in baseball with the second best throwing percentage ever, next to Pudge Rodriguez.
Yasiel Puig, the right fielder, 5th in the league in hitting at .313. And what may surprise you about Puig is he leads the team in walks, a free swinger that has made that adjustment here in year 2 in the big leagues.
He really has, Dan, to his credit. Swinging at everything last year. I mean everything. The plate for him, instead of 17 inches wide, was about 23 inches wide, but not this year.
D. Gordon is 40 for 47 in stolen base attempts. Puig out in front on that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Adam Wainwright changing his pace. Hands to the waist, and he makes D. Gordon wait. That's the best deterrent to a base stealer. Make him wait. If he's going to go on your terms, not his.
Dan Herron was talking about the impact that a base stealer can make in a game, and specifically D. Gordon. From a pitcher's perspective, you have the slide step, and in his experience, the slide step, you lose location. And he said, so you
lose velocity too.
That's the other thing. And he said, you know, you think about D. Gordon, you look at the numbers and you see 40 steals. That stands out. But the havoc that he causes a pitcher, which then aids the hitter, is something to think about as well.
Yeah, sometimes the threat of the stolen base is worse than the stolen base itself.
2 balls, 1 strike. Certainly a running count if they want to do it here. Not running, and the pitch is taken inside. 3-1. Since June of last year, only Victor Martinez of Detroit has more hits in Major League Baseball than Puig. Leads their club in hits with 87. On base percentage, 6th best in the league. And it's a high fly ball lifted into right center field on a 3-1 pitch. And D. Gordon left standing at first momentarily.
First baseman number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
Tim, you remember this was a key moment for the Dodgers that gets overlooked in last year's NLCS. Adrian Gonzalez in game 1 was taken out of the game late by Don Mattingly. D. Gordon comes off the bench to pinch run. Game goes into extra innings. Gonzalez's spot comes up a couple of times, and instead of having Adrian up there, you have D. Gordon.
Big difference, obviously.
He never ran, was left standing at first base. Big difference in game 1 late. And Gonzalez leads their club in home runs and RBIs.
A better running situation for Gordon here because you have a left-handed batter up. Your catcher really needs help from the bench if a runner runs in this situation.
The shift is on here for Gonzalez. Peralta stays at his normal shortstop position. And Matt Carpenter, the third baseman, is at second base. You could have the unusual but now seen 6-5-3 double play. Turned at second base. Mike Matheny telling us that they adjust with counts and with batters with Carpenter and Peralta at second base in that area. Gordon is running, and the pitch is a high fly ball lifted out to left. Catch is made by Holiday. And with the shift there too, Tim, he also had the potential of Matt Carpenter, your third baseman, covering the bag at second on a steal.
Right, a 2-5 putout.
Right.
I was thinking the same thing, but that was a hit and run. Gordon did not have a good jump at first base. He had to wait to make sure that the hitter made contact, but you can see Matt Carpenter from his old second base days giving the old decoy down there as though there were a play on Gordon. That's the deke at second base.
Now it's Matt Kemp. 80% for his career for D. Gordon. The success rate in the big leagues. A lost season a year ago for Matt Kemp. Only appeared in 73 games, dealing with all types of injuries. Season eventually ended with ankle surgery. He dealt with a shoulder and also a right hamstring. When healthy, a very good player. Line drive, and that's caught by Mark Ellis. Gordon left stranded at first, and there's no score after 1 inning of play. In Los Angeles, as we turn to our Toyota keys to the game.
Starting pitching prevailing every night of this series. Tonight and tomorrow night, 2-day games, Saturday and Sunday, with strong starting pitching in all 4 games.
Johnny Peralta homered in the series against the Rockies. 8th in the National League with 21 doubles. And riding a modest 6-game hitting streak coming into play.
The game can trick you sometimes, Dan, but I mean, you look at the pitching matchups and you would assume that that these 4 games will be low-scoring games because of the starters. Both teams with good bullpens also.
Thinking about the Dodgers, obviously the headlines, there's a big breaking ball, go to Clayton Kershaw, and rightfully so, but Ryu, the lefty tomorrow, who doesn't get a lot of the headlines. I mean, he is a picture of consistency.
Guy won 14 games last year.
And his numbers are almost identical to what he did a year ago. Two and two the count. Line drive into center field and a base hit.
Looked away, got the fastball away, got the cutter away. Good hitting by Peralta.
Batting next, catcher number 4, Yadier Molina.
Both base hits have come with 2 strikes. against Josh Beckett. The swing here of Peralta.
3-2 count to Matt Carpenter. Now 2-2 to Peralta. But look at him reach across the plate. Smack it to center field. Right back through the originator.
Molina was 1 for 9 against Colorado. That one hit, he came off the bench. And he taps it foul. Don Mattingly back for another season with the Dodgers. He took over for Joe Torre. Mark McGwire, obviously with St. Louis ties as the hitting coach. Rick Honeycutt finished up his playing career as a reliever with the Cardinals. And the pitching coach with Los Angeles. There's a fly ball lifted into right center field. Ethier is back, makes the catch. And Peralta back to the bag at first.
Right fielder, number 21, Alan Craig.
Here's Alan Craig. There's 25 hits in the month of June to lead the St. Louis Cardinals.
Alan Craig, a propensity to hit the ball in the hole to the right side. If he gets the count in his favor, look for the hit and run.
Beckett has never been a fast worker. And with runners on, he really slows things down. I thought the point that you made about pace with Adam Wainwright, we saw that front and center in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, with D. Gordon on it at first base.
Numbers on Craig this year. Those 40 RBIs, that leads the club. Very short lead at first by Peralta. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Beckett, for so many years, a power pitcher that you talked about. We saw him with the Marlins when he won a World Series and was the MVP of 2003 in that World Series against the Yankees. And some outstanding years with the Boston Red Sox. And now here in Los Angeles.
Injuries have forced him to pitch and not throw. He used to throw, now he pitches. He has to.
Oh-2 is tap foul. A byproduct of the surgery that he had is that he's now more on top of his breaking ball. So you're getting the natural 12-6 curveball and not the sweeping breaking ball that sometimes can be flat, and that's what he was getting hit a lot on prior to the surgery.
And the reason pitchers do that, throw the ball and not get on top of it, their arms hurt.
Right.
It's that simple.
Sometimes we make things way too complicated, don't we?
Yes.
My arm hurts, so I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, so don't get on top of the ball. Drop down. It feels better.
Makes sense.
And generally speaking, you're going to do what feels better. No, that sounds crazy, but it's true.
0-2 the count with a runner at first. And a chance here for Craig. California native. Alan Craig is a very good example of just how well the Cardinals have drafted over the years. Some of the finds that they've had, rounds 10 through 15, 15 through 20, they've had some that have come up in the last 5 or 10 years that have wound up being everyday major league players. Just a bit low, and it's 2-2. You see that gap on the infield on the right side. They hold at first, and as you mentioned, I think when he's right, Alan Craig, you see him go to right.
Yeah, he could pepper that hole or hit a home run that way. Not a good, however, I don't think this is a good running situation, because if the pitch is a ball, you're going to be running anyway. on a 3-2 count. 2-2 situations are normally not good running counts.
Concern you have if you're Mike Matheny, Craig has grounded into 10 double plays. Butera out to visit with Beckett.
Yeah, that's usually a byproduct of the hit and run. However, the real thing you're intending to do is get first and third with one out. I know you stay out of the double play, but that's not the primary reason you put the hit and run on. It's to get that runner at third so you can score him on something other than a hit.
The 2-2 from 0-2 to 3-2.
Now he runs.
The Cardinals with the win yesterday. First time they had come from behind after trailing after 6 innings. First time they'd come from behind that late and won a game all year. They were the last team in Major League Baseball to do that this season. Taking 2 of 3, and it brought them to a game above 500 away from home. Peralta, the runner at first. There he goes into 3-2 as a ground ball left side. Taken by Uribe. And there's 2 down. It's now time for you to tweet your photo using the hashtag STLFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T.
If I were the Dodgers, I'd put John Jay on here. I know it's the second inning. You don't like to get a lot of base runners in a situation like this, but their go-ahead scout knows that John Jay's been one of the hottest hitters in June in baseball.
322 is average in the month of June. And Jay hits a line drive out to left, and the catch is made by Matt Kemp. Again, everything he's hitting right now is hard. Meathead. From that meathead to our meathead, Jim Hayes. Hello, Jimmy.
Too easy, Dan. Too easy. Little Shelby Miller news for you. Shelby, of course, battling those back spasms in Colorado, says he's confident that he'll be good to go for his start on Sunday. Shelby was supposed to throw a bullpen today. Instead, he threw off flat ground, he says, on the advice of the training staff. But Shelby says the tightness and soreness in his back are close to gone, and he even got in a light workout today. For his part, Mike Matheny says Shelby is improving, but he's not ready to say Shelby's a definite, not yet anyway, Dan, I guess TBA.
How about Marco Gonzalez as we get a look at Andre Ethier?
Yeah, Marco admitted to me that he's glad that first start is behind him, although he says he's really happy that he got to do it in Colorado near where he grew up. He says the night before that start he barely slept. He kept waking up numerous times thinking he was late for his start and that he was missing it, but he feels he'll be better next time.
Ground ball to the right side. Wainwright is there at the bag, and Ethier is retired. Thank you, Jim. Archie, one of my favorite shows.
You know what? Mark Ellis, I think, has a word sign with Matt Adams. When Adams breaks to his right to prevent him from fielding the ball, the second baseman will have a word sign to him. Watch Adams go in front of Ellis. Ellis fields the ball and throws the ball to Adam Wainwright covering. That way you don't have somebody in between you making the throw and the pitcher taking the throw.
I don't think I've ever seen a guy range as far to his right, and this is Juan Uribe at first base, than Albert Pujols. I mean, he was incredibly aggressive.
And could still get back. That was a remarkable thing.
Absolutely. He read it very well off the bat. Was able to quickly decide whether or not to keep going after it. And the Cardinals have been thrilled with the defense, by the way, of Matt Adams this year. 0-2 the count on Uribe, who's hitting .303. And he blew it right by him, looking for something else, and very late with that swing. The first strikeout for Adam Wainwright.
That was a looking for something else swing, yes.
I'd say so.
Drew Butera.
First strikeout for Wainwright. Let's take a look at the leading vote getters for the National League All-Star team. And Puig is the leading vote getter in right field. Yadier Molina behind the plate for St. Louis. Puig is trying to give the Dodgers a fan-elected outfielder in the All-Star game for the 4th time in the last 5 years.
While we're talking about All-Stars, if I may interject, nobody, including us, has talked about Matt Adams. I mean, obviously, he's
just
not
thinking that today.
Really?
Yeah.
He's not going to be a starter, obviously. But he's a guy, if he continues to hit 300 by the second week in July, I think he's a pick by Mike Matheny.
League's third leading hitter.
Yeah.
Starting to hit for power. This pitch is popped up. Shallow center. Ellis puts it away. And Butera is the third out here in the home half of the second. No score from Dodger Stadium. All-Star game. Right now, voting ended today. Puig would be in, and we were just talking about Matt Adams, and he's holding his own, and so is Puig. And looking at what they've done in 600-plus at-bats, and both have put up very good numbers I think maybe for some a bit surprising to see those numbers for Adams in comparison to the right fielder of the Dodgers that gets so many headlines.
Sure.
Line drive, and that's caught by the shortstop, who's filling in for Hanley Ramirez, Miguel Rojas, who spent 9 years in the minor leagues with the Cincinnati Reds.
It's a nice story.
Adam Wainwright.
Give him an A for sticking around, perseverance. And here he is, a major league shortstop. And from what Nomar Garciaparra told us before the game, he is doing the job at short.
We just got word on Hanley Ramirez, no structural damage in his shoulder. The MRI came back clean, so he is listed as day-to-day. And as of right now, the Dodgers will not put him on the DL. That pitch taken low by Adam Wainwright, who's hitting .290. 9 hits this season. 3 of the 9 have been doubles. One of the top hitting pitchers in the game today.
Adam thinking, give me that pitch too.
I have thought Beckett has had a lower strike zone than that of Adam Wainwright.
Like that right there. That ball's not high enough. And he's getting some vocal disagreement from the dugout, the Cardinal dugout. Because the one thing they can see from the side is the height of the pitch.
Sure.
You can't tell whether it's in or out.
Reaching for it. Beckett stays with it and makes the play. Friday, July 4th, all fans entering with a ticket receive the replica 2004 championship ring. Names like Roland, Edmonds, Carpenter, Pujols, Isringhausen, all a part of that championship team. You'll take home the ring. Also fireworks. That's the only fireworks display in downtown St. Louis on the 4th of July, and that will be at Busch Stadium. Here's Carpenter, who singled on a 3-2 pitch up the middle to start the game. Rob Reiner is here. Christopher Lloyd had our starting lineup. Dr. Emmett Brown fame from Back to the Future. I preferred him as Jim Ignatowski of Taxi.
Good going. Movie buffing us.
Why do I remember these things? And again, I can't add 2 + 2. I think Alex Trebek is down there too. Jeopardy. I think you'd go on Jeopardy and just kill it, wouldn't you?
No, I wouldn't.
You love history.
Well, I do. Yeah, but I mean, no, I would not. No, I would not be good on Jeopardy. I could not take the pressure.
Oh, stop. Trebek. And if you watch Saturday Night Live, you know my last reference there. 2-2. Cardinals had 4 sac flies yesterday, and they've done that just a couple of times since the early 1920s to have 4 in one game.
Before a sac fly was a sac fly.
Exactly. That's ripped down the right field line, but pulled foul. This ballpark has had a number of renovations, and the new ownership group has invested millions into rehabbing the visitors clubhouse. You have big screens, the video boards, but this has never changed him in capacity. 56,000 any way you want to slice it. There's a permit that limits capacity at that number, and this has the largest capacity of any stadium in baseball. Matt Kemp puts it away. 6 in a row set down by Josh Beckett. giveaway on the 4th, and you have also great 2004 giveaways, including the Edmonds bobblehead. And that's Sunday, July 6th. Cardinals.com/promotions. Ice cream sundae for the kids as well. Miguel Rojas will lead it off here in the 3rd, followed by Beckett and the top of the lineup in D. Gordon. I know the trade, Tim, is not Brock for Broglio, but this trade of December of 2003, Cardinals picked up the unknown in that deal from Atlanta, Adam Wainwright, J.D. Drew, Eli Marrero, Jason Marquis, Ray King, all involved with this deal. Drew is retired. Marrero, last check, was a coach with the Reds. Marquis had Tommy John surgery and just signed with the Phillies in early June. And Ray King is out of baseball, and this guy has turned out to be one of the Cardinals' great postseason pitchers and certainly one of their top pitchers ever.
He's done it closing and he's done it starting.
Here's a ground ball chopped to short. Johnny Peralta, one away.
Talking to Mike Matheny the other day, and he said before the Cardinals decided to give Adam Wainwright the highest salary in the history of the Cardinals, Mike said that obviously he was consulted, and he said that he told ownership that not only was Adam Wainwright a good pitcher, but his influence on the younger pitchers was just as important. And when you're doling out millions of dollars, that is certainly a consideration, and Mike thought it was, and obviously Adam eventually signed that big contract. I mean, everybody knows that, but particularly the young pitchers coming up in his shadow.
Hey, Michael Wacha is a great example of that.
Yeah, right.
Spring training, not this past season, but the year before, Michael Wacha's first spring training ever in the big leagues. He was invited to Major League Camp. He was a sponge, and there's a strikeout of Beckett. He would follow Wainwright everywhere he went, and Wainwright was the one that said to him after watching him pitch one time, I can help you with your curveball. You need to get it out more in front. You're cupping it a little bit near your head. You're not only giving it away, but you're not getting the true 12-6 that you can get. And those two have forged a really nice relationship, and it's part of what you're saying, just being a leader on this team.
And right-handed pitchers relate to right-handed pitchers, and all the Cardinals pitchers, with the exception of Jaime Garcia, are right-handed. The starters, that is.
Here's D. Gordon, who walked and left stranded back in the 1st. Chad Billingsley undergoes elbow surgery for the Dodgers and expected to be sidelined for 8 months. What has been a significant loss for the Dodgers.
Again, we've talked about Wainwright, but when you can make a ball do the things that he makes it do, you're going to hurt your arm like that. Otherwise, more pitchers would be able to do that and be healthy.
The slider, the curveball.
The Dodgers used to not teach the slider because of that. It was damaging on the elbow.
Was that Frank Joe behind that decision, you think?
I don't think he was behind the decision about sliders, but once he explained, I would imagine, once he explained to the Dodgers that rotation of the elbow, and I'm kind of doing it right here and looking at it, and you realize that if you do that with enough violence, it's going to hurt and going to be damaged.
Absolutely.
So the Dodgers taught the curveball, but not the slider for many, many years. I'm not sure whether that's still in vogue.
Two outs.
You think about Beckett, fastball, curveball.
Yeah.
Same with Kershaw. With the exception of what Rick Honeycutt, we'll see that on Sunday. What Rick Honeycutt did taught him the slider, and it's a different type of tilt.
If Shelby Miller makes that start, he'll go against Clayton Kershaw Sunday. We've got Ryu going for the Dodgers tomorrow, and Saturday it's Greinke. What you're talking about, Tim? This is yesterday after Marco Gonzalez was through in his 5 innings. Welcome to the big leagues. Welcome to this exclusive club. Red, white, and blue. It's a patriotic Cardinals jersey, 25,000 fans, 16 and older. Take home this one-of-a-kind item. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Here's Holiday, and the first pitch is fouled back in a healthy cut. Grounded into a double play his first time up. Tim Lincecum, the no-hitter against San Diego yesterday, his second. Both have been against the Padres. So the Cardinals facing Beckett, who has thrown a no-hitter this year. Kershaw as well. Greinke has won a Cy Young. Kershaw has won a Cy Young. Lincecum has won 2 and thrown 2 no-hitters, and we'll see him on Tuesday.
In 5 games, 3 guys that have thrown no-hitters recently.
Fly ball. Left center. 1 away. Tim, there had been 50 no-hitters since Lincecum and Rick Wise. And Rick Wise, it was back in 1973, and you know this quite well. You were behind the plate in 71. And Rick Wise had a couple of home runs in that game.
One of the most unbelievable performances in the history of the game.
And Lincecum had a couple of hits yesterday, so it was the first in the span of those 50 in which the pitcher who threw the no-hitter had a multi-hit game.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I didn't see that. That's great. Well, Rick Wise's performance, I mean, he could hit, but to have 2 home runs the same day you pitch a no-hitter is just extraordinary, and he did it against the Big Red Machine. And the guy who made the last out in that game, Pete Rose. And I remember telling him, you had to be up right now. And he lined out to John Vukovich at third base.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Rick Wise had a chance to throw another no-hitter. He was in the 9th against the Reds, and I think it was Joe Morgan who broke it up.
In Cincinnati,
Joe
right? Morgan broke it up in the 9th inning.
Had my years mixed up, but
Good
I knew
going. The following year, that's right.
1-out walk to Adams. Cardinals and Dodgers play Game 2 tomorrow night, Fox Sports Midwest. Saturday, full day of baseball. Twins and Rangers on Fox Sports 1. Baseball night in America on Fox, Cardinals and Dodgers. All weekend long, Fox is your source for baseball. Often overlooked with Rick Wise, obviously the Carlton deal, but later in his career traded for another Hall of Famer, Dennis Eckersley.
Yeah.
And Peralta jumps on that pitch, a hanger, and Beckett got away with it. It's good to see Matt Adams walk. That's something he does not do very often. Short lead at first, and Peralta yanks it foul. 0-2. Well, along with Craig, Peralta also has grounded into 10 double plays this year. Cardinals catching the Dodgers at a point in time this season. They're starting to play much better baseball. They were 9.5 back as of June 8th, and tonight 3 games out.
Gaining 6.5 games against the Giants in 18 days, right?
That's right.
My gosh.
Won 9 of their last 12 games. Third best record in the National League. Here's a 1-2 pitch to the Cardinals shortstop, Johnny Peralta. Beckett bare hands and makes the play. Not sure he needed to bare hand that, but made the play with the bare hand, and it brings in Yadier Molina.
You get the drift of it. You know, it's so hard. I mean, it's easy to sit up here and say that Josh Beckett's going to try to get guys out of the way. But it's a lot tougher when you're obviously in the batter's box, because they're always in the back of your mind, it's that fastball inside. Well, what if he comes inside? If he comes inside, you can adjust to it. The hands will adjust to it because he's not throwing that hard. That's why, look, it's kind of like Dixie. Look away, look away, look away.
Molina looking away for ball 1. Yeah, for us, we haven't seen Josh Beckett in quite some time. And,
you're right.
You know, when you think of Josh Beckett, at least for me, I'm thinking of the flamethrower, a lot of fastballs, strikeouts up in the zone because of the extra giddy-up.
Except for the LCS last year in Game 3 when he pitched 7 scoreless innings, giving up only 3 hits to the Cardinals.
Exactly. That's away again. 2 balls and no strikes. So take me in the mindset right now of Yadier Molina. He knows what you're talking about. 2 balls, no strikes. What are you looking for here?
He knows it more than any other hitter because he's a catcher and he understands that.
Low and away.
3 low and away. Again.
Almost as if they were pitching around Molina and want to deal with Craig.
That was absolutely a pitch around.
So 2 walks in the inning, and it brings in the right fielder Alan Craig, who grounded out to third. 2 walks in the inning, 2 in the game for Josh Beckett. Beckett got that no-hitter back on May 25th. First since Hideo Nomo in 1996 for the Dodgers. That was in Colorado. And then right after Beckett, Clayton Kershaw. 2 on, 2 outs. It just floats in for a strike. The 0-1 pitch. The fastball taken low, 93. And as you mentioned, Tim, he can still get it up there, 94, 95.
Not often, but occasionally. And sometimes Beckett's smart, too. He'll show you that pitch inside and then go right back out there. I think that's what he's going to do with Allen Craig. No way is he going to try to get Craig out inside with a runner in scoring position. So even though Butera was set up inside, Beckett was not convinced then. He ends up throwing the ball low out over the plate.
2 balls, 1 strike. The Cardinals had a runner in scoring position back in the second. John Jay lined out to left to end the top of that inning. 72 miles an hour. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
El Swervo again.
Yeah. And again, low and away.
Yep.
Time called. And Butera wants to visit with Beckett.
You know, he had set up early, and the one thing you don't want to do with the runner on at second base is, if you're a catcher, set up early, because big league hitters can give location. They may not know what pitch it is. They may not know it's a fastball, curveball, but they know where it's going to be. That's easy to, if a catcher sets up too early. So I think Butera called time and then went out and talked to Beckett and perhaps said, I'll set up late. Throw the same pitch, but I'll set up late. We'll see.
That's exactly what he did. And he got him. Well done, partner. Strikeout of Craig. Second strikeout for Beckett. Butera moving late, setting up low and outside. Hit his spot. Cardinals strand 2. Brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. By Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer for 75 years. And head to Jack in the Box for the new jalapeno ranch or barbecue ultimate cheeseburgers at participating restaurants. I know you may find this shocking at home, but it's not raining and it's beautiful here in LA. And Big Mac is the hitting coach with the Dodgers. Had a nice run in St. Louis, obviously as a player, but then brought back by Tony La Russa. talked about his past and was welcomed back by that coaching staff. And there's Puig swinging through the breaking ball. On the all-time Cardinals strikeout list, Bob Gibson 3,117. Number 2, the man on the mound, Adam Wainwright, 1,227 with 2 more tonight. This is all that Puig saw in the playoffs. It was breaking ball after breaking ball.
That's how smart Molina and Wainwright. He didn't throw one breaking ball to Puig his first time up. 4 fastballs, 5 fastballs. He made an out on an inside 3-1 fastball. And now 2 straight breaking balls coming the second time up. He may get another one here, too, out of the strike zone.
There's the pace, the hesitation, and he bounced it. It's all about disrupting timing.
Yeah.
And Wainwright, as you talked about, Tim, so many different variations of his delivery to the plate. And his ability to adjust on the fly. Second to none. Puig fly to center first time up. Molina sets up inside. Goodbye. Strikeout number 3 for Adam Wainwright. That is pitching there.
First baseman number 23.
3 curveballs and now a fastball that Puig normally hammers. That pitch looked like it was 104 miles an hour to Puig. It was 92, but after 3 curveballs, the fastballs appear faster.
Adrian Gonzalez flied out to left. The shift for the Dodgers first baseman. He is 6th in RBIs. And he hits this one a ton out to deep right center field. Jay is back, and he's got it on the track up against the wall. Over the years, this has been known as a pitcher's park. Some ballparks, that ball is gone.
You know, it started out as a pitcher's park with Koufax, Drysdale, Osteen, the aforementioned pitchers of the 60s, and it's remained that way. But you're right. A lot of ballparks, that ball's out of here. Good play by Jay.
You get to the West Coast, the air a little thick at night, knocks it down. Now Matt Kemp popped out to second. Since early June, he's hit close to 360. And they feel he's getting ever so close to 100% healthy. And I'm not sure any major leaguer is ever 100%. They're always dealing with
that's a very good point. You're
some type of ailment, but
right.
Severe injury would be the way to put it.
Hurting is normal.
Here's a ground ball, and that's fair. What a play here by Matt Carpenter. Wow. Playing near the line. Spun around and threw a strike to Matt Adams. Takes a hit away from Matt Kemp. Jay lined out to left and looks at a strike. Nothing into the count. Josh Beckett looking sharp here tonight. He has struck out 2, walked 2, and allowed 2 base hits. No score here in the top of the 5th. Two and two. Ball with Jim Hayes, Tim McCarver, Dan McLaughlin with you in the 2-2. And Jay spoils it out of play. Another big crowd here tonight at Dodger Stadium, which was built at a cost of $23 million. Opened up in 1962. It's Fenway, Wrigley, then this ballpark, Dodger Stadium, the 3rd oldest ballpark in Major League Baseball.
There are more than a handful of players making more than $23 million this
Right.
year. So they're making what the cost of this stadium was. That puts it into perspective.
Sure does. And you could have a pitcher out there, and it's happened many times, where he's certainly made more than $23 million standing on the mound of the ballpark that cost $23 million. Doesn't sound right, but it's true. Chavez Ravine ballpark, depending on the seat that you're at, it overlooks downtown LA. San Gabriel Mountains beyond the outfield pavilions. So much history since the early 60s here at Dodger Stadium. Three and two the count on John Jay. Mark Ellis and then Adam Wainwright this inning for St. Louis. Jay hits it to the right side, taken there by D. Gordon. Let's go back to the last half inning, the bottom of the 4th.
Second baseman, number 3, Mark Ellis.
Strikeout of Puig. The catch by Jay. And then Kemp. This is a very tough play, isn't it, Tim?
Obviously, making the play is fine, but watch him turn to his right. Rarely will you see a left side infielder, a third baseman or a shortstop turn to their right and still get their man. Good play by Carpenter.
Just a seamless move with that to get the ball out of the glove and then threw a strike right at the chest of Matt Adams. Here's Mark Ellis. Scored the game-tying run late yesterday and has hit close to 300 since early June. Average at an even 200. He lined out to short his first time up. On the outside corner and a strikeout of Ellis. 3rd tonight for Josh Beckett. July 8th will auction off exclusive Cardinals experiences during the annual Cardinals Care broadcast auction. And 2,000 fans will have the chance to purchase a special fan pack that's during the July 8th broadcast. All proceeds go to Cardinals Care. Ball taken low and away by Wainwright, who's grounded out 0 for 1. Ground ball to 3rd, taken by Uribe, and a 1-2-3 inning for Josh Beckett. The bottom of the 5th rolls in when we come back to Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. As Wainwright finishes up his warm-up tosses. And Tim, you began our telecast talking about the range of speeds disrupting a hitter. We've seen that really on both sides.
No, we absolutely have. We talked about Beckett. He has been as masterly as Wainwright. Change up to get Alan Craig, then Matt Carpenter, and a good curveball to get Craig. Adam Wainwright. That's Puig. When a major league hitter looks that futile, gives you an idea of what those curveballs are doing.
Well, arguably the greatest to have ever done this, what I do, not necessarily what you do, which is the play-by-play. You're the analyst, but I know you could do play-by-play as well.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
But you could do it.
I like you doing it. I like him doing it, too.
That's 86-year-old Vin Scully. Works by himself. Boy, what a dream that must be. Anyway, he's 86.
I'll hurry out of here. Where's the revolving door?
No. You're not going anywhere. It's been great to have you with us. But during Kershaw's no-hitter, and by the way, Adam Wainwright, through 4 innings, is tossing a no-hitter.
Oh, yes! You said it.
Blame
yes.
it on me.
Yes!
Blame it on me.
I love it.
And he said, well, I'm going to tell you what about superstitions. I don't believe in them. Our job is to give you information. So the 86-year-old Vin Scully said, go ahead and call your friends and tell them what's happening with Clayton Kershaw. And Boyd Robertson, who's been with him for years, his top researcher and the man that's next to him for all these games. And Boyd, by the way, has a St. Louis connection, family and friends back home in St. Louis. And Boyd is truly one of the nicest people you ever meet. He said, Vin, calling's nice. You may want to tell them to text each other. Things have changed a little bit. And he said, oh, okay. He said, hashtag Kershaw or something like that. Anyway, next pitch, a ball.
That's great.
So if the great Vin Scully says it's, you know what?
I've always thought it was absurd.
No superstition, we don't either.
But there is an industry of grown men who for 150 years have never said, or 100 years or so, whenever radio was invented, maybe the 1923, they think that it's jinxes the pitcher if they say that a no-hitter's going on, and it's foolish. I'll tell you how bad it got during Lincecum's no-hitter the other day. Mike Krukow and Kipe were doing, Dwayne Kipe,
sure,
buddies of ours, great guys.
Doing it forever.
They're doing it forever. They wouldn't mention that Tim Lincecum. They'd mention everything around it. Well, not a base runner, all that. Well, and then they threw it to Major League Baseball, so the MLB network, they mentioned that Lincecum had a no-hitter going, but they threw it back to AT&T, and they thought by not saying anything about it that it really wasn't going on. Well, I don't know what. I mean, an industry of grown men. I don't understand it. It's bananas. It's voodoo. It makes no sense.
Andre Ethier was the man at the plate. Now he says he's all right. So the foul ball, and where did this catch him? Oh, that was above the shin guard on the inner portion of his knee, it looked like. Now, last year, Michael Walker had a no-hitter for 8 2/3, and I wouldn't say anything. Then he lost the no-hitter, and I said, all right, forget it. I'm done.
So you're not doing that anymore. Good.
Nope.
Good for you. I love it.
Here's a 2-2. Ethier has grounded out. Uribe struck out. He's on deck, and then Butera popped out. Dodgers have had one base runner. That was D. Gordon. He led off the game with a walk. Then Puig had a 3-ball, 1-strike count. So Wainwright was one pitch away from walking back-to-back hitters for the first time since September of 2012.
How about that? It hit him again. I think this one got the shin guard of Ethier.
So as a pitcher, or in this case, for you as a catcher, you go back down in there, don't you? Are hitters hesitant sometimes on that inside pitch?
I think with Wainwright's control tonight, you go either way. You can go curveball, you can go fastball. That was a cutter. You can go either way.
A 3-2 pitch. And Carpenter over to his right. Makes the play.
And they went back in there. You're right, Dan. At Cutter back inside, jams Ethier.
For the Dodgers, third baseman, number 5.
And the parade of outs continues.
There's Juan Uribe, who is looking for something else in his last at bat and swung through the third strike and was about a day late. The year for Adam Wainwright has been remarkable so far. He's missed one start with tendonitis in his elbow. He came back over the weekend against the Phillies and was outstanding. He's second in the National League in ERA at the start of play tonight. And that's behind Johnny Cueto. Tied for first in wins with 10 with Alfredo Simon. And these two teams have 5 of the top 10 winners in the National League.
What a curveball that was.
I'd say.
He has thrown 5 pitches to Juan Uribe, major league hitter, looking totally overmatched. Now that may not continue, but it has so far.
The 0-2. Got him with the breaking ball again. Uribe has no clue what's coming next. And that's 4 strikeouts for Adam Wainwright.
Catcher, number 31, Drew Butera.
That gives him 102 strikeouts this year. He came in 6th in the league in that category. Butero is behind the plate for the no-hitter for Josh Beckett. How about the pressure on the catcher during a no-hitter? Did you feel it?
No.
It's just you and I. You can tell me the truth.
No, I'm telling you the truth. I'm a truthful man. I paid for the truth.
It's just me here, Tim.
Yeah, just between you and me.
You got it.
Yeah, right.
I would think the pressure would be there.
Look, why is there pressure? I mean, you got a guy throwing a no-hitter. What's pressure is a guy giving up 5 runs in the first. That's pressure.
Because then it falls on you a little bit, or what?
That's pressure. You're already out of the game. I'm serious.
Very few times I disagreed with you. But this one, I'm going to have to disagree, even though you played 21 years in the big leagues.
You disagree with me. You asked me a question. I gave you an answer, and you said you disagreed with me.
I didn't play a minute in the big leagues.
I'm not going to tell you the truth anymore.
I want the truth, and I can handle the truth. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That's good to pull up a Jack Nicholson quote out of A Few Good Men here in the movie capital of the world.
He goes to basketball games. I don't see him much here at Dodger Stadium.
I saw him at Yankee Stadium once.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Yep. I think he's from Neptune River, New Jersey, I believe, or Neptune Lakes, New Jersey. So a short commute with Jack.
Penny Marshall is here a lot. Larry King, you'll see him here. Tom Hanks is here. Most of them want to come and see you and say hello.
I'm telling you.
Ground ball, and to his left, Peralta makes a nice play.
Sorry, I'm busy.
Oh, I like it. Got some muscle up here. It's Martinez, Gonzalez in front of Adam Wainwright. Beckett was on the right, and 2 hits tonight. That's it. Matt Carpenter on a 3-2 pitch to start the game. And then Johnny Peralta, leadoff man in the second, on a 2-2 pitch. That's it. Wainwright allowed a leadoff walk to D. Gordon. And since that time, 15 straight. And a strike at the knees to Carpenter, and we're underway here in the 6th inning from Dodger Stadium. They're in the top of the 8th. Milwaukee leading Colorado 5-4. Ramirez with his 11th. Ricky Weeks with his 3rd for the Brewers. Again, changing speeds, and both have been so effective with that.
This time a little different to Matt Carpenter. He got ahead with the fastball and then tried the breaking ball. Up and away. I never liked that with catchers pointing way up like that. I think hitters see that.
The 2-2. Does that go back to when Butera 2 moved late? Because they can pick up, hitters at times can pick up the movement of a catcher?
Well, hitters can't, but guys at second can. This is a different situation right here. Cardinals had a man on second base, Matt Adams, when Craig struck out, and that's why he set up late.
And that's out of play.
Throws so many breaking balls. And how many times have you seen Matt Carpenter swing like that this year? Not often. He is a very good hitter with 2 strikes, and that was just a little punch shot, and that's because Beckett is throwing so many breaking balls.
There it is again. 3-2. At some point you think he might hang one and you pop him. 85 pitches by Beckett. The 3-2. Up the middle. Position there though, the shortstop Rojas, and he makes the play. It's another good matchup tomorrow. Our Budweiser What's on Tap. Carlos Martinez now in the starting rotation. 1-3 his record. And Ryu trying to pick up win number 10. He's 9-3. The lefty will come your way at 8:30 on Fox Sports Midwest in the Budweiser What's on Tap. Holiday has bounced into a double play and flied to deep center. He stepped out, no time was called, and that's ball 1. Time never granted by Vic Carapazza, the home plate umpire.
Matt turning to Carapazza, and they're chatting, and Carapazza didn't think that time was called in time.
Little message on that last pitch, you think?
No, I don't think so. Not in this game. No.
2 balls and no strikes. Sets up outside, and it's chopped up the middle again. Rojas 2 down. With 2 outs, it brings in Matt Adams.
First baseman number 32, Matt Adams.
Adams struck out swinging on a pitch way out in front back in the first and walked in the 4th. Strike at the knees. Nothing at 2. chase that pitch. Butera throws to first. Gonzalez there. The strikeout, number 4 tonight for Josh Beckett. We're midway through 6.
And kind of stood on the back of the mound and was just like, wow, this is pretty crazy that I'm facing a guy who I grew up watching and in Coors Field, and a guy that I just respect as an athlete. He's a good battler, and we had a good day yesterday, and I was pretty pumped to take one from him there.
Marco Gonzalez, and talking to Jim Hayes in the pregame. What did you think of Marco yesterday?
I thought he was very composed. I mean, you give up 5 runs, but I wouldn't say the runs were tainted, but I thought he did an admirable job. Could he have done better? Of course. But to get your feet wet, I mean, keep in mind for a 22-year-old pitcher how difficult this game is.
At Coors Field, like you said.
Yep.
Family and friends, and there's the first base hit for the Dodgers tonight on a pitch that was up, and it's Miguel Rojas. Star-studded lineup, and the one that gets the first hit, known for his defense, Miguel Rojas.
And as you said, a guy who's been in the minor leagues for 9 years. Tricky game, isn't it?
Sure is.
Now look for the bunt. Obvious.
Beckett with 3 sacrifices this year. Tim, I was talking with Jose Oquendo, and we both had a chance to visit with him, and we asked him the key to being a corner infielder. He said in his mind, too many guys are passive. They're afraid to make mistakes. And he was talking about plays like this, where you come in, and if you have a chance to get the lead man, roll the dice.
Well, you got to dare him to bunt the ball, first of all. Crowd him. Intimidate him. Dare him to swing the bat, because if a guy like Beckett swings the bat, he's not going to pull it. If he's a left-handed hitter, maybe he could punch it past him, because you can see him charge. Take the bat out of his hands and challenge him. It's risky, but not that risky when you think about it. One thing you can't do as a corner infield is charge if you're Matt Adams, because it's your responsibility to hold the runner on.
The 1-1. Taken low. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Pulled the bat back as though to swing. Even if he swings, you got to figure the odds of him pulling the ball down the third baseline are not great. So Matt Carpenter really has nothing to worry about along those lines. Beckett, meanwhile, will be trying to bunt the ball to first base.
They ask if he went.
It appeared that he bunted through the ball. That's what Molina thought. First base umpire Bill Miller said no.
So 3 balls, 1 strike. Mike Matheny putting on the signs defensively from the dugout. Now we're set. 3-1 pitch. 3-2. Tim mentioned these 2 pitchers are 2 and 3 in ERA in the National League. Wainwright second, Beckett third. He's swinging, and a fly ball lifted into shallow right. A sliding catch, and back to the bag goes Rojas. Nice play in right field, Alan Craig.
You know where he caught that ball? He caught that ball where shifts are made, where a second baseman is. So you talked about the corner infielders. What about the corner outfielders? If he does swing, it's not going to be a full swing. Alan Craig knew that and was in a position to make the play. That's heads-up defense by Alan Craig. He struggled with the bat. But that right there, you can pin a star on that baby.
I feel he's a much better outfielder than he is first baseman. And you watch him. Is it a great arm? No. But he doesn't make any errors. He's yet to make an error in the big leagues in the outfield, and he'll surprise you. He's getting to balls that I think are a bit surprising that he's gotten to.
Well, what he did then, before the play happened, was why he caught the ball. Cheating in, knowing that if Beckett made contact, then he was going to be in a position he can't hit it that far anyway. He knew that and made the play. Nice.
Now D. Gordon. The runner at first, Rojas, 1 out. Gordon has walked and popped out and looks at a ball. Yesterday, Gordon, in a win over Kansas City, was 4 for 5 with a triple, 2 runs scored, and a stolen base. He has 9 triples to go along with his 40 stolen bases, tops in both categories. Be awfully tough to turn 2. Hitting room to the left side because Carpenter has to cheat in.
I was thinking the same thing about turning a double play. If you're a middle infielder, you try to make sure of one. Forget about a double play. You're not going to get this guy unless it's a low rocket one hopper to you.
I think so much attention was given, and rightfully so, to Billy Hamilton with his speed, but here's the guy that's leading by a wide margin in steals in the National League.
Right.
Time called.
Alan Craig cheating in, knowing that on a 3-2 count, if Josh Beckett made contact, he was not going to make contact and hit it hard to right. So he cheated in and made the play.
In the air. Long way to go for Holiday. He won't get it. Drops in for a base hit.
Here's that Alan Craig play again. That's why it's 1 out. Positioning so important for an outfielder. Matt Holliday playing probably too deep in left field. It's easy to say after the fact, but with D. Gordon, he's not going to drive the ball over your head in the opposite direction.
They start to make some noise for one of their favorites, Yasiel Puig. He is fly to center and called out on strikes back in the fourth. The check swing, and he went. Strike one. Such an important pitch. Strike one, and it sets the tone and maybe changes the complexion of the approach in the at-bat.
No question.
Tim talked about it earlier. The first at-bat, the fastball. Second at-bat, a lot of breaking balls to Puig. Nothing at two. Puig, good speed, tough to double up. Runners at first and second. Long look in the 0-2. Ground ball out at second. How about a double play? They turn it. The stretch by Adams. 5-4-3 on the double play. To this year, and that ends the sixth.
Let's take it pitch by pitch. The fastball in off the plate. Check swing strike. Vicious curveball, a little lower to get the double play. It's a blueprint of pitching right there.
What a ball game we have had.
Great game.
Now Peralta to start the seventh, and a breaking ball that's taken high. Johnny has one of the Cardinals' 2 hits. It's 2 hits aside in this game. We're in the top of the 7th. That's pulled foul. Was looking at this the other day. Bob Gibson against Don Drysdale, 3-3 in 8 starts. Against Koufax, he was 2-4. And what's interesting is that Bob Gibson Atlanta, Cincinnati, and the Dodgers. The only teams that he had an ERA of over 3 against in his career. There was only 3 in his career.
The Dodgers were one of those teams?
Dodgers are one of them.
With the weak offense, that's a surprise.
As Peralta reaches, it's popped up. Gonzalez. And there's one away. Follow every Cardinals game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv, game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Cardinals.com today.
Koufax was starting against the Cardinals in 1963 in this ballpark. We had a meeting 10 minutes before the game, after batting practice and after infield. Johnny Keane, our manager, held the meeting, and he said, we're going to try another way with Koufax tonight. We're going to take him the other way. We were shut out. 3 hits.
It didn't matter, huh?
I mean, what are you talking about? Take him the other way. We're just trying to make contact on the guy.
Dodgers added Sandy Koufax to the rotation by sending Tommy Lasorda to AAA to make room for him.
That's in Lasorda's banquet speech that he's responsible for Koufax being in the big leagues.
He's still coming around the ballpark. See him all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a 2-1. Up the middle, and it's off the bat. Gordon stays with it. The pick by the 3-time Gold Glover, Adrian Gonzalez. What a play all the way around for the Dodgers.
He made that play on the shortstop side of second base, using that range as a shortstop that he had. And the pick on the other end.
Since the walk to Yadier Molina, 9 straight for Beckett. The 2 hits he allowed came in the first 2 innings. And here is Craig, who's grounded out to third and also struck out.
Excuse me, Dan, if I could explain one thing. You folks out there may not know what infield is. It used to be before every game. Infield practice was taken. A couple of ground balls, a couple of double plays that the infielders would work on. The catcher would work on throwing the ball to second, throwing the ball to third. And it was standard. It's never done anymore.
Never.
Nope.
And Craig hits it out to deep right field. Puig is going back at the track. It's off the wall. Craig to second base with a 2-out double. And the Cardinals have their first runner in scoring position since back in the 4th.
First extra base hit of this game, and we talked about Alan Craig's power the other way earlier. Now with 2 outs, he'll want to try to get a good jump at second base in case John Jay gets a hit. This ball over the head of Puig, but to give you an idea of how remarkable an athlete he is, watch how fast he recovers.
We could see that plainly as Craig didn't even give third base a second look. As Puig got it back in quickly. Now it's John Jay. Breaking ball taken high and away.
No way you pitch to him here, I don't think.
You mentioned that earlier, and you said that in the 2nd inning.
That was in the 2nd inning with Mark Ellis on deck. If a guy's going to get a go-ahead hit, it's going to be Mark Ellis and not John Jay.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is what we're talking about, Tim, with Puig and the athleticism to recover, and he has an absolute rocket for an arm.
Oh, man.
May not always be accurate, but it's coming. He lets that baby fly. Likes to show it off. He just has no idea where it's going sometimes. But it is a cannon in right field. Check swing did not go. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's a big pitch in this game right here on 2-1.
Again, Alan Craig must get a good jump at second base. with 2 outs, the minute the hitter swings, lean toward third base. Get your momentum going toward third.
(3-1) is a base hit out to left, off the glove of Uribe. Here comes Craig. Throw by Kemp. They got him. They got him.
Alan Craig thought he touched home before the tag. It was a terrific throw by Matt Kemp and a great tag by Butera. But we talked about Craig, that he had to get a good jump off of second base. You cheat toward third, not lay back toward second because you're not a fast runner. The Dodgers pitching to John Jay. Kemp cheating a little bit, and the throw, it looked like with the naked eye that his hand was on the plate before the tag was made. We'll see. No. Well, I couldn't see there. That's a better shot. That's tough.
I think they got him.
I think they did.
You know, those are 3+ arms that they have. A former center fielder in left.
I don't know now.
Boy, you're right.
Boy, that's tough.
Here we go, Tim.
Really
you and I
tough.
have had, in the games you've been doing, probably 3, 4, maybe 5 of these calls
Unbelievable.
that could go either way. And we keep making the point, for this to be overturned, it has to be pretty much black and white. You know,
that last shot, it was more black and white than any of the other shots.
Yeah.
Seems to me. That's that shot from high third. High third is a position of a camera in the ballpark that is above third base. And the Cardinals did not get the call.
Throw by Kemp to Butera. They cut down Craig in what would have been the first run in this game. By Kemp, and a bang play at home plate. Adrian Gonzalez, Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, 3, 4, and 5 in the lineup for Los Angeles. Gonzalez flied out to deep right center, also flied out to left, 0 for 2. To baseball's credit, they have changed some of the rules already this year after massive changes in the offseason. One of those, the catch. There's a hanging breaking ball, but the shift was there, and that's where the diving catch earlier took place for Alan Craig, and there's a line out to Mark Ellis.
And I get your drift, Dan, because did the fact that Butera blocked the plate without the ball force the runner to the outside of home plate to make Alan Craig go around the tag instead of through the tag? Now he's in the baseline right there. Now granted, it's inside the baseline. So Alan Craig had a shot perhaps of going down the line, but Butera, because of his positioning, forced him outside. Was that in effect against the rules of the new rules that have come out about blocking home plate?
And a new rule changed this past week on force plays at the plate. So that's something that's changed as well. To baseball's credit, if they have felt it needed to be addressed, they have done that and changed it in season. I thought the catch rule definitely needed to be changed.
Yes.
I think it's a valid point, though. Your lane that you're supposed to be given, if that was just enough to push him to the outside, it was just enough to get him out.
Yeah, that's right.
That breaking ball has been sharp tonight. One pitch. The official ruling call stands. No official evidence to overturn it. Two balls, two strikes. Kempes popped out to second, also grounded out to third. Goodbye. Strikeout number 5, looking for something else. We've said that a few times tonight.
Center fielder number 16, Andre.
There have been some weak takes, weak swings at these two pitchers tonight.
Seeing with his hat off and talking to teammates gives you the impression his night is through. And a right-hander, that's Wilson, his bobblehead night here at the ballpark, and he's getting loose. Quite a look that Brian Wilson has going now these days. Doesn't stand out much.
That's some head to bobble.
I'd say so. Wow.
I will guarantee you I'll show up in the clubhouse, the Dodger clubhouse tomorrow, and tell Brian I said that.
He'd appreciate it,
though.
Oh,
he would. He'd take it as a compliment.
Only a look a mama could love. And even that might be stretching it. And all kidding aside, he's come back from injury and keeps himself in tremendous shape. Former closer with the Giants.
Guy with 172 saves to his credit.
That pitch was up, but over to his left, Ellis. And a 1-2-3 inning for Wainwright. We head to the 8th. Wilson coming on when we come back. with Pat Paris.
Leading off the eighth inning for the Cardinals, second baseman number 3, Moncala.
We revisit Tim McCarver's keys to the game. Starting pitching prevails, and has it ever here tonight?
Gosh, I'll say, wow. Some of the funkiest swings you'll ever see by major league hitters, and even their takes have been just totally discombobulating for the hitters. I don't know any other word. I don't have a word for the way these guys have pitched tonight. Brilliant?
Brilliant.
That's one.
Here's Brian Wilson. Wainwright, by the way, only 84 pitches through 7. And Ellis looks at a strike. Brian Wilson picked up a save last night in Kansas City, his first since 2012 with a scoreless 9th inning. We've always talked about those first pitch strikes, and Wainwright with 13 of those tonight. 7 times he's gone to 0-2. I mean, that is just dominating. With his kind of stuff, control, as sharp as he's been, that's a mismatch.
Putting the hitter on the defensive immediately.
This is the 34th appearance for Brian Wilson. The 1-1, a strike. Final line on Beckett: 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, walked 2. ERA down to 2.11. Struck out 4.
Funny how the game is. His last pitch was a base hit.
Good point. And the out he gets is at the plate.
Yeah.
1-2. May come down to your bullpens here tonight. Cardinal fans familiar with a couple of guys in the bullpen for the Dodgers. One being a closer that spent some time in St. Louis, had very good years with the Indians, Chris Perez, and the well-traveled Jamie Wright has found a home here with the Dodgers. Both right-handers. The 1-2. Ellis lined out to short and struck out. Wainwright 0 for 2 on deck, and then the top of the lineup in Matt Carpenter. Strikeout of Ellis. He didn't like that call either. He was arguing earlier with Vic Carapazza. Let's turn to our Mazda game summary. Game 1 of this 4-game series between the Cardinals and the Dodgers. Wainwright still in the game, 7 innings. Craig 1 for 3 with a double thrown out at the plate. Beckett out of the game, 7 innings. And D. Gordon 1 for 2 with a walk. Good breaking ball. For the arm injuries hit Brian Wilson, he was lights out. Good breaking ball. Threw hard. And Wainwright shoots this into right field. Puig is over. 2 down.
Third baseman number 13, Matt Carpenter.
Carpenter 1 for 3, a single on a 3-2 pitch up the middle back in the first. The last Cardinal hit was in the 7th. Prior to that, you have to go back to the 2nd inning. St. Louis with 4 hits. Carpenter's in the first, Peralta in the 2nd with a single. Double by Craig. Jay the base hit to left, and then Craig thrown out at the plate by Matt Kemp. Here's an 0-1 to Matt Carpenter. Now 0-2. talking about guys that wear the numeral 0, number 0. Well, 00 here for Brian Wilson. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, Ottavino wore it with the Colorado Rockies, but his was for the first letter of his first name. 00 is unusual.
Anybody's guess?
No idea.
The 0-2. One and two the count on Matt Carpenter. The check swing, and he went. Strikeout of Carpenter. Wilson strikes out 2 in the inning. We get to the bottom of the 8th, and there's no score. By Bud Light Lime, the perfect beer for whatever happens. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Crowd tonight, 48,624, 48,624. Along with Jim Hayes, Tim McCarver, Dan McLaughlin with you, and Adam Wainwright still in the ball game. He's allowed 2 hits. Now 3. A base hit for Uribe, who had struck out twice prior to that at bat.
That's a redeeming factor of the game. Juan Uribe saw 6 pitches, all strikes, and struck out. First 2 times up, and hits Adam Wainwright's fastball right up the middle to open the 8th. Butera will be bunting.
The closer, Jansen, getting loose. The right-hander. Butera was acquired from Minnesota last July. Splitting time with Ellis behind the plate. Here with the Dodgers. Uribe, the runner at first base. Carpenter in on the grass at third. Outfield straight away. The pitch out. Ball 1. I believe that's Justin Turner who has moved to the on-deck circle. Last sacrifice 2011 for the former American League catcher. Bunt is down. Molina's only play to first. Adams there, 1 away. Go ahead run in scoring position.
Shortstop number 72.
Sacrifice 2-3. Turner is pulled back. Rojas will hit.
That was odd, was it not?
Yes.
Turner was out on the on-deck circle. In all appearances, had a pinch hitting for Rojas. I thought it was odd that he was out there because Rojas got the first hit of the ball game against Wainwright.
Exactly. That was in the 6 to left. And a breaking ball and strike 1. The runner at second, Juan Uribe. A hit by pitch with the bases loaded in the 8th to give the Dodgers a lead last night. And this a ground ball stopped by Peralta that saves a run. Runners at the corners now for the Dodgers and only 1 out.
Once that ball got by Adam Wainwright, no way for Peralta to get to that ball, but he did stop it, as you said, Dan, to prevent a run.
Saw Peralta make a similar type play in Colorado with that slide and spin.
And he completed it.
That's right.
2 days ago.
Now we see Turner. He'll be the pinch hitter. This crowd is electric tonight. Ball 1 to Turner. Five for 14 with 5 RBIs as a pinch hitter this year. Inning started with a single by Uribe. The sacrifice, Butera. Rojas, the infield hit. Runners at the corners in what has been a fabulous night for Wainwright. Base hit. Dodgers have the lead.
Looked like a cut fastball from Wainwright. Pretty tough job for Justin Turner to get off the bench and hit a guy who has not given up a run all night. First run of the ball game. Looked like a cut fastball.
Sure did.
Stayed in the middle of the plate, though. Didn't dive away from Turner. And the Dodgers score the first run.
Wainwright had not given up a hit in this game until the 6th inning. Now he's given up 5, and the Dodgers have the lead. D. Gordon and a blue base hit. He is walked and popped out. Runners at first and second, 1-0 Los Angeles here in the bottom of the 8th. similar pitch there that he had to Turner. Out of play, 0-2. Kenley Jansen is continuing to throw in the Dodgers bullpen. 28 saves a year ago. Wainwright trying to keep this a one-run Dodgers lead. Here's that breaking ball, and it scoots away from Molina. Runners advance to second and third.
That is normally a ball that Molina sucks up, breaking ball, but it was in front of the plate. Bounces off toward the first base side to move the runners up.
Gordon has struck out 45 times this year, and Wainwright needs that here. Infield drawn in. The 1-2 pitch. Outfield shallow for Gordon. It's slapped into the seats.
And that's where most National League pitchers try to pitch Gordon up and make him hit the fly ball. It's a dicey situation now because you don't want him to hit it far enough to score the runner in third. But the way to get him out is to make him get on top of that high fastball.
And he got him. A strikeout. 6 tonight for Adam Wainwright.
Right fielder, number 66, Yasiel.
Time for the AT&T fan photo. Puig will be the hitter with runners at second and third. And Wainwright trying to keep this a one-run lead. Cardinals looking ahead. Will have Holiday, Adams, and Peralta due up in the ninth. Matt Kemp's throw a difference tonight. Gunning down Craig at the plate. 2 outs, 2 on. Puig staring back at Adam Wainwright.
Please
give me a break. It's those little things that do not endear you to the opposition when you're Puig.
No, and you can't blame the opposition.
Nope.
You can't blame Puig.
One ball, one strike. Couldn't pull the trigger.
Inside fastball. After being fed a bevy of breaking balls in the dirt tonight, an inside fastball, I would think, be used to be setting that breaking ball up. We'll see.
got him to chase. He slams his bat in disgust. The breaking ball, Puig strikes out. Dodgers, though, have the lead as we head to the ninth. The atmosphere has been outstanding here tonight.
Great ball game.
Close to 50,000 here at Dodger Stadium. Nissan drive of the game. That base hit. Uribe would score, and that resulted in an RBI for Turner. Getting the high five from Davey Lopes. And a one-run lead. Adam Wainwright, our BJC Healthcare difference maker. The 7 strikeouts, 8 innings, 5 hits. Took a no-hitter into the 6th inning, and now it's the closer, Kenley Jansen, hard-throwing right-hander. And Don Mattingly has been leaning on Jansen an awful lot. That's why Brian Wilson was into the game yesterday to close it out. Jansen had pitched in 4 of the previous 5.
One of the problems with Jansen is that early in the counts, when he first comes into the games, he is wild high, and you've got to wait him out. Hope you get ahead. He'll throw mostly fastballs, but he can be wild around the letters.
Mid-90s fastball. Features a cutter. A very good one.
Real good one. Former catcher.
Chevy called to the pen. 23 out of 26 in that save department. That's tied with Trevor Rosenthal, 2 back of K-Rod of Milwaukee for the league lead. Holiday twice is grounded to short. One of those turned into a double play back in the first and flied out to center. One ball, 1 strike on Holiday. They're deep in the outfield. 1-2.
Outfielders thinking that the Cardinals need 3 hits to tie. That's why they're that deep. They're deeper than they normally would be with Matt up there. It's like baseball's version of the prevent defense.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Prevent the double.
The 1-2. Oh, he got away with it. Didn't hit a spot, but it's 95 miles an hour. Holiday swung through it. That's the first out here in the top of the ninth. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Adams twice has struck out. Cardinals looking for their first win when trailing after 8. They got their first win when trailing after 6 yesterday. Adams out to left, and the catch is not made by Kemp. Playing deep, and there's an example of a ball dropping in.
I was thinking the same thing. You can play deep with a prevent defense, no doubles defense, but not in the off field. Because again, when a guy hits the ball the other way, if you're a left-hander, you hit it with your arms. You don't have the strength when you pull the ball. So Kemp playing extra deep, and that cost the Dodgers.
Almost came up with this.
For the Cardinals, pinch running, number 8.
That would have been trapped anyway.
Yeah, as it so often does in football, we see it all the time, that prevent defense burns defenses.
Now you have a pinch runner for Adams, and this is Peter Borges, the former Angel who stole a base against Colorado. He now has 5 this year. Peralta at the plate. It's a foul ball that caught Butera. By the way, base runners, if you're wondering, Butera is 7 for 21.
But that's without a sore hand. Mike Scioscia, the manager of the Angels, talking about how when a catcher gets hit on the right hand, the next pitch is the best time to run if things are okay. Right now is a perfect example of that.
Sure is.
You got your fastest guy on the team and a catcher who was just plunked with a foul tip.
There he goes on the 0-1. Throw down to second. Oh no. Borges off the bag. And Rojas kept the tag on. Borges did this yesterday, if he indeed came off the bag. Tried to steal against Colorado. Beat the throw there. He went so hard into the bag that he bypassed it by about 2 feet. Well, in this case, apparently he came off the bag.
I'll tell you, I missed the play, Dan. I did not see the play. It's going to be reviewed, but I'm sure we're going to have a chance. Obviously, the throw not even close. Now the left leg comes in. The left leg is bent, and he did come off the bag. But was the tag on him at the time? Yep.
But look at his left toe. Now it's off the bag, but then his knee drops down.
Right. But watch the tag of Rojas. Right in the torso, right there. And at that time, the leg was off the bag, I think. Now the glove's not on him there, but I think what the crowd is seeing is that one shot. I think it's got to be from high first, wouldn't you think?
Yes.
To see if the glove of Rojas was on the side of Borges while he was off the bag.
Yeah, I can't tell if he was able to get it back down with the knee, and if that left toe was actually off the bag. Yep, it definitely is. You can see it there.
See, the knee comes up.
Yeah, and if he held the tag, he's out.
If he held the tag, he is out. But did he tag him and knock him off the bag? Because if he did that, then Borges had a chance to come back with the knee.
I think it's the right call.
Well, I don't know. That's obviously why it was reviewed. It was so close. But the thing is, Borges beat the play and now comes off the bag. I agree with you. Now,
we had that view from center field, and his foot is a good, say, 4 or 5 inches off the bag.
You're right.
You can't see it in that replay, but you do see that the tag was there, so just sync it up, and then clearly he's out. 1 ball, 1 strike. And it's the second time that he has done this on that road trip,
And that was yesterday afternoon, right?
And he had the base clearly stolen, and now the Cardinals are down to their final strike. And Peralta hits a fly ball into center. The Dodgers take game one. And what a game it was. 1-0 the final in favor of Los Angeles. Wainwright takes the loss. Wilson the win. The save for the right-hander Jansen. And the Budweiser player of the game, the starter for the Dodgers. And that's Josh Beckett, our Budweiser player of the game.
Great ball game. I mean, a great ball game. If this were a postseason game here tonight, they'd be talking about it for a long time.
So Beckett the win. Jansen picks up the save. Wainwright takes a loss.